All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 2, day 5 of the C-CAP Summer Virtual Culinary Program in conjunction with or collaboration with CTE with Chicago Public Schools. Happy you all joined in today. So today's recipe, we are looking at making seasonal fruit compote, ice cream, and shortcakes. Now, we're gonna break this recipe up, because since there's technically speaking three different parts to our recipe, we're gonna start with the item that actually is going to take the most time to develop flavor or develop character. But what I mean by that, we're gonna start with making our ice cream in a bag first. And yes, that's right, I said ice cream in a bag. We're going to take a cup and do almost just like we did with the unbelievable chocolate pudding that we did yesterday. We're gonna take a cup there. We're going to take a gallon-sized bag. I'm going to put this to the side. Then we're going to take our quart-sized bag. And actually, I'm looking at it. Unfortunately, bag won't fit over that cup, so I'm going to see if I can actually get another cup a little bit smaller. I think this should work. Yeah, this should work. So what I want to do again is try to create a whale to get those ingredients in it. Now, the ingredients for this particular recipe, ladies and gentlemen, if you all remember, just going down page 17 of our recipe packet, it is 1 cup of heavy cream, ½ cup of milk, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of dark cocoa powder, a pinch of salt, 2½ pounds of ice, and 6 to 8 ounces of salt. That's either rock salt, kosher salt, or even in this case we have kosher salt that I'm using as well to get that started, because that's definitely what we need. So without further ado, I'm going to start this. I'm going to make sure I get all my ingredients in. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. We're going to measure out our heavy cream. Now, if you all remember, same situation with when we were making our whipped cream yesterday for that unbelievable chocolate pudding. We actually had to make sure everything was chilled. And in this case, I'm actually making sure that my heavy cream is chilled as well, because having a cold substance helps us out with this particular recipe. So I'm going to pour in 1 cup of heavy cream, and that is chilled. Put that back down there. I'm also going to do a ½ cup of milk. There we go, ½ cup of milk. That back down. We'll do 1/3 cup of sugar. Grab my sugar here, 1/3. Here we go, 1/3 cup of sugar. Right, now I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this other way around. I'm also noticing that I need 1 teaspoon of dark cocoa powder, so I'm going to measure that out first. Level that out. Put that in. And the reason why is because I want to actually do my dry first before I do my wet, because I'm using the same measurement. And it's easier to measure that if you don't have it stick to your spoon. Right. Recipe also calls for a pinch of salt, and I'm literally going to do a pinch of salt. So I'm going to ask you all this question, and that's about a pinch of salt. That's how much I'm going to use. Again, that's about matter of fact, that's about a pinch. I need to be very careful with this. The rest I'm going to put on the side, or because I don't want to actually have too much salt in the recipe. So I'm going to ask you all a question when we get to our reviewing of the video. Why is it that we can only use, well, we can't use too much salt when you're making ice cream? So nevertheless, there we go. We have our items, and it was that simple. I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to mix these items together. I want to make sure that they are evenly dispersed. Bring my bag together so I'm making too much of a mess. Again, I'm touching the bottom of the bag because I want to make sure I break that sugar up. See the colors changing already. Don't want to have any spills. Now, if you want it a little more darker, you can add a little more cocoa powder as well, but be careful because you don't want it to have too much and the mixture be bitter when you taste it. Alright, so your mixture should look like this here. You see some clumps of, unfortunately we do see clumps of dark cocoa in there. However, when we shake this up, going through the process of making it in our bag here, it will definitely further break up the little pockets of cocoa powder in there. Now I'm also going to do a little taste test here as well. Make sure that it's at the right taste level, or at least for me, taste preference. That's perfect. That is perfect. Wow. It almost tastes like a milkshake. I like that. Wow. Whew. You have to excuse me. I haven't had anything sweet all day, but I definitely like the taste of that. I can't wait to see how it's going to come out. All right, there we go. All right. Now I'm going to close my bag up here and try to get as much air as I can out of this bag. When we encase this in our second bag, you want to make sure that there's no air pockets to force any of the product out of the bag. And you want to make sure that you ziplock it. You want to make sure you get a firm ziplock on it. I'm just trying to go back over just to make sure. So you all see I have a firm ziplock, okay, sealed all the way through. Now I'm going to take a second Ziploc bag, a quarter Ziploc bag, and again, just so you can see the mixture here, you still see some of the cocoa powder in there. Again, as we shake it up, the mixture is going to chill. It's firm. It's going to break those pockets down. So now I'm going to take that bag, put it into a second bag just for added measure. So I want to make sure that if I do have any spills, it spills inside the second bag and it doesn't get all over the place. So there we go. All right. Now, here's where the workout comes. You know, I like to have you all working out whenever we do recipes. Put that there, keep this here. So bear with me one moment. So I have to get my ice. All right. Here's my ice. And just to be on the safe side, since this is a ready-to-eat food as well, I am going to put on gloves just in case I come in contact with the liquid, even though it's already self-contained. I just want to make sure. And also, if I have any spills. All right, so making ice cream, the most important thing, you have to have fat. You also have to have salt, and I'm not talking about the salt necessarily in the recipe. Salt in the recipe is for flavor. The salt in this part of the process is to help bring down actually bring down the chill point of this ice. Now I'm going to measure this out. I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup. And it's best to use rock salt, or again, in this case, kosher salt. You can also use regular table salt, but you got to use more table salt. And that's all I'm doing. I've taken about, yeah, that's I'm going to say about a pound of ice and about 2 ounces of salt. Put it in mix it in the bag, and I'm just going to sandwich it in. Now I'm going to add the rest of my ice. And it looks like I'm going to have to put some more ice, believe it or not. I want this, because what I want is this bag to be filled with ice, because the colder it is, the better. So excuse me one more time. Got to get some more, I definitely got to get some more ice for this experiment here. All right, there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna fill it up with more ice. And this time I'm gonna do another about 2 ounces of kosher salt. And put in the rest. Notice again, you can't even, you can still see the bag, but again, what you want to do is nestle that bag in between these here. And then it's just for added measures. I'm going to take a little bit more salt, just sprinkle on the top. And again, the reason why you need some type of salt is to help bring the ice point down, or the freezing point for this ice mixture here. And hopefully I can get this bag ziplocked or closed off. All right, I think that'll do it. Okay, check that out. So I don't need an ice cream machine. Do I have an ice cream maker? Yes, I do have an ice cream maker. However, I'm not going to use it. Again, you all know I'm all about doing everything old school, at least showing how to make it old school. So now you have to take some clean towels or covering. You're going to cover your ice. You're going to shake it. And you have to shake for 10 minutes. So it is 1:45 now. In 10 minutes, I will stop shaking it and we will have ice cream. So bear with me. I may have to fast forward. The best way is to just shake it from your chest outwards like this here. And what you're trying to do in this process here, you're trying to take the fat that is in the heavy cream and in the milk, and you are taking those milk fat solids and you're creating ice crystals. So what's going to happen is that the milk fat in those two dairy products, again, the 1 cup of heavy cream and a 1/2 cup of milk, the fat in those particular dairy products are going to seize up and they're going to create ice crystals. Therefore, they're going to end up creating ice cream. And when you finish, it's going to be the consistency of, anybody's ever actually gone to Wendy's or something like that, it's going to be consistent between soft serve and firm serve ice cream. If it comes out soft serve and you want it a little bit more firm, just pop it in the freezer for about another 1/2 an hour after you get it to the soft to the soft serve stage. Can't believe only 2 minutes has gone by. I still got another 8 minutes of shaking this bag. And again, just curiosity, if you all are asking why do you have to get 2 towels here or some type of covering, it's because the ice is going to go lower than the freezer point that is at in your freezer, and you don't want to get freezer burn on your hands because it's a painful feeling. And next time I'll get a longer towel. So again, just conversation while I'm going through this process here, being talking about the fat content in milk. Typically, or at least milk when you're making ice cream, typical milk has anywhere between, I guess I'll say whole milk has about 8% milk fat content, and then as you go up the scales, you go like 8, then it doubles to like 16, it may go to 25, it may even go to 36. You want to use, whenever you're making ice cream, you want to use a substance or milk dairy content that has a fat substance or a fat count of at least, I'm going to say 25% fat or more. The heavy cream that I'm using has 36% fat content. And I know that because, again, you can find that information on the ingredient label. It'll tell you how much fat content has. And heavy cream has to have at least, if I'm not mistaken, according to rules and regulations for heavy cream, to fit in the definition of heavy cream, it has to be at least, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 32% fat content or more. So this here was 36, so I knew I was on point. I added the extra measure of having that whole milk in there, that at around 8%, that was probably 7-8% fat content for that milk. I just wanted a little bit of extra fat content to help me out in making sure that my fat becomes solidified with this ice mixture, and that it starts to seize up and turn those fat molecules into ice molecules, so that we can get a consistency similar to ice cream. Okay. And the fact that I actually had the milk and my heavy cream chilled or in the freezer helps out with the process as well. All right, bear with me. We've only had 5 minutes go by so far. We still have to shake it. So this is just like the process when we were going through our pasta, where we actually have to go through the kneading process, and we have to go through a 10-minute process to get it to the stage that we want it. And again, like I said, next time I'll get a bigger towel to help out with the process. And I think I'm getting there's an opening somewhere in here because I see some water or condensation on my countertop here. So since I have it out, just to let you all see, so it's still in the mixer, and you can see some of it there as well. And I can definitely